Hi everyone, Timola here from foxreviews.info and welcome to this week's edition of the weekly Forex Algorithm Review. I hope you're all well and you had a great trading week last week. This edition of the review is for the 10th to the 14th of December. And in a few moments, what I'll be doing is highlighting a number of important trading areas, as well as highlighting how price action moved last week on multiple markets. The first pair I'd like to highlight is USD, and I'm on the daily chart. On USD this week, what I'd like to highlight is a potential management point area and target area to the upside for all those people holding a buy trade on this market from the recent test of the 113.10 zone area, which is this important low area on this market. Now the management point area I'd like to highlight is this high area to the upside and low. And the target I'd like to highlight is the 115.50 zone area. The 115.50 zone area is a potential long-term target to the upside for all those people holding a buy trade from the recent test of the 113.10 zone area. And it's also an area to the upside where I'm just looking for bearish events in this area. And if you see right bearish events in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to this high and low area, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 113.10 zone area to the downside. So overall in USD, holding that I'm expecting more price continuation to the upside on this market, at least up to this previous high area and low for all these people holding a buy trade on this market. However, potentially this market may continue all the way up to the 115.50 zone area. So holding the 115.50 zone area as a potential long-term target area to the upside for all these people holding a buy trade on this market. And also on the 115.50 zone area as an area on this market where I'm just looking for bearish events and a potential with the downside from this zone as well. Okay, well that's it for that market. The next pair I'd like to cover is GBUSD, and I'm on the daily chart. On GBUSD, what I'd like to highlight is the 126.96 zone area. You could call it the 127 zone area, which is this previous low here and low here. This is an area on this market, a great area on this market to consider a potential bullish opportunity in this area and look for a potential move the upside. Potentially move all the way up to this recent high and low, or potentially look for a move all the way up long term to the 130.40 zone area to the upside. So overall on GBUSD, on the 127 zone area as a great area on this market to consider a potential bullish opportunity in this area and look for potential move the upside from this important zone. Okay, well that's it for that market. The next pair to cover is US dollar Swiss, and I'm on the daily chart. US dollar Swiss continued further to the downside last week in price action. And as you can see, price just recently broke below this recent low. What I'd like to hold in this market this week is that I'm expecting more continuation to the downside. And for all those people that are holding a sell trade on this market, from the recent test of this high area back here, that potentially this market may continue all the way down to this recent low back here, or all the way down to the 98.30 zone area. And what I'd like to highlight is the 98.30 zone area as a potential long-term target area to the downside for all those people holding a sell trade on this market from this recent high area back here, the recent test of this high area back here. And also want to highlight that the 98.30 zone area is not only a potential target area to the downside, but it's also an area to the downside where I'm just looking for bullish events in this area. And if you see right bullish events in this area, like I go over in the Forex training on the website, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to this recent low and high looking left, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the $1.41 area, which is this high area on this market. So overall on US dollar Swiss, on the 98.30 zone area as a potential long-term target area to the downside for all those people holding a sell trade on this market, as well as on the 98.30 zone area as a potential area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish events and a potential with the upside from this important zone. Okay, well that's it for that market. The next pillar to cover is AUD, and I'm on the daily chart. Last week in the review, I held the 73.35 zone area as a potential bearish evidence area. And as you can see, when price came into this zone, price did test deeply in this area early in the week, and the bears took control, pushing price all the way down to this low area late in the week. What I like to hold in this market this week is that where price is testing this low area, that the bulls may hold this low area. And so the bulls may take control and push price all the way back up to the 73.35 zone area. So wanting to highlight first off that this low area is a great management point area for all those people that are holding a sell trade on this market. However, if this low does not hold, then I expect price will continue all the way down to the 70.47 zone area. So wanting to highlight the 70.47 zone area as a potential long-term target area to the downside for all those people holding a sell trade on this market. And also want to hold the 70.47 zone area as an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if you see a right bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to this recent low, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 73.35 zone area to the upside. So overall on AUSD, holding that where price is testing is a great management point area on this market for all those people holding a sell trade. However, potentially this market may continue further to the downside if it breaks below this low area, and holding the 70.47 zone area as a potential long-term target area, as well as an area to the downside where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area and a potential move the upside from this important zone. Potentially move all the way back up long term to the 73.35 zone area. Okay, well that's it for that market. The next pillar to cover is AD CAD, and I'm on the daily chart. On AD CAD, what I'd like to highlight is where price is testing right now, which is the 95.78 area. This is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if you see right bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up, all the way back up to this high and the 97.83 zone area. You could say that this high is within that area because it's within 15 pips of that zone. So looking at this high and the 97.83 zone area as a potential long-term target area to the upside. Of course, depending on that evidence and how it forms in the 95.78 zone area to decide whether to consider a trade in this area or not. Okay, well that's it for AD CAD. The next pillar to cover is New Zealand USD, and I'm on the daily chart. At the moment, this market is in an uptrend, and so the area I'd like to highlight is a potential pullback area in the trend. And the area I'd like to highlight on this market in this week's review is the 68.28 zone area. And as you can see, it looks like price action is pulling back to potentially test this area this week. And if I zoom out, you can see this is an area that acted as resistance back here, support back here, and support back here in the past. So what I'd like to highlight is that if price tests this area this week, which I'm expecting it will, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if you see right bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to this recent high, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 70.48 zone area to the upside. So overall on New Zealand USD, on the 68.28 zone area as an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence and a potential with the upside from this important area and a potential continuation in this market's trend. Okay, well that's it for that market. The next pair I'd like to cover in this week's review is New Zealand CAD, and I'm on the daily chart. New Zealand CAD last week tested the 91.84 area, which is a potential bearish evidence area. And as you can see, when price came into the zone, the bears started taking control and then pushed price to the downside from this area last week. What I'd like to highlight is for all those people holding a sell trade on this market, that potentially this market may continue all the way down to the 90 level to the downside. And the 90 area is a great target area to the downside for all those people holding a sell trade from the recent test of the 91.84 zone area. And it's also an area to the downside where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if you see a right bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up, all the way back up to the 91.84 zone area to the upside. So overall on New Zealand CAD, holding the 90 zone area as a potential target area to the downside for those people holding a sell trade on this market from the recent test of the 91.84 zone area. And also on the 90 zone area as an area on this market where I'm looking for bullish evidence and a potential with the upside from this important zone. Okay, well that's it for that market. The next pillar to cover is Euro AD and on the daily chart. Last week in price action, Euro AD was a really strong mover, moving strongly to the upside from the 154.72 zone area all the way up, breaking above the 156.58 zone area, and then moving all the way up to where prices recently closed, which is near the 158.64 zone area. What I'd like to hold in this market this week is the 158.64 zone area is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if you see a right bearish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 156.58 zone area. Now the 156.58 zone area is also another area I'd like to mention on this market. Now the market's broken above and closed above this important zone. And in the case of the 156.58 zone area, this is an area to the downside where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if you see right bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 158.64 zone area to the upside. So overall on Euro AD, on the 158.64 zone area as a potential bearish evidence area on this market, and also on the 156.58 zone area as a potential bullish evidence area on this market as well. Now, before we go on to the next pair, I thought I'd take a quick moment just to mention that just because I'm holding an important zone on the daily chart, that doesn't mean that you have to be looking for aligning evidence and a potential opportunity in this area on the daily. A trader could be looking for aligning evidence and a potential opportunity in this area on the daily, 4 hour, the 1 hour, or whatever time frame suits them as a trader. Okay, let's go on to the next market. The next market to hold is gold, and I'm on the daily chart. On gold this week, I just want to give a quick update of this market since the last review, and that is that gold hit that long-term target area that I mentioned in the previous review for all those people that are holding a buy trade long-term from the 1207 zone area. In other words, for all those people that took a buy trade within the 1207 zone area, price hit the long-term target area they mentioned in previous recent reviews of this market, which is the 1239 zone area. So overall, gold was a great performer with price moving all the way up from the 1207 zone area and hitting that long-term target area last week. Okay, let's go on to the next market. The next pillar to cover is GP Swiss, and I'm on the daily chart. Last week in price action, GP Swiss's price declined further to the downside, and now price is getting close to testing the 125.33 zone area, which is the area I'd like to highlight in this week's review on this market. The 125.33 zone area is an area that acted as support, looking at back here and back here in the past. And what I'd like to highlight is that this is an area that if price tests this area this week, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if you see right bullish evidence in this area, like I go over in the Forex training on the website, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to this low, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 128.67 zone area to the upside. So overall on GP Swiss, on the 125.33 zone area as an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area and a potential with the upside from this important zone. Okay, well that's it for that market, and that's it for me for this week's edition of the review. Thanks for watching. If you appreciate this video today, please do not forget to click the like button to show your support. If you have a question or comment below this video. Also, if you haven't checked out the Forex training on the website, such as the Engulfing Trader, the 5-day training series, the Counseling training series, or the Zone Trade training series, where you can find out all about this Forex training by clicking on the links below this video. Okay, well, I hope you all have a great trading week and happy trading.